Yoga is the recognition that body is the least useful thing on your inward journey. It has to be just put there in place. It has to be given enough attention so that it does not draw all your attention. It's a subtle art. Your journey starts with the body. You're nothing but the body. So your attention is on the breath. Your attention is on the physical sensations. But it should never become obsession with the body. You are using the body as a springboard to jump into the self. Sthira Sukham Asana. Be firm, be comfortable, and that is your posture. Literally sit as if you're sitting on a throne. When you are meditating, when you are practicing your yoga, you are a king. You're not a beggar. The one who's twisting his body is a beggar. Have you ever seen king do all that? Have you ever seen a king on a headstand? It will look stupid. Why? Because he is the king. He's sitting on a throne. He is the master of his universe. He does not have to do all that stupid things. That is the posture you need to assume. You need to sit like a king. You need to sit like a queen. Revel in the sensations of the body. Experience the subtleties of the body. And always hold that image that I am comfortable. There's no need to shift. There's no need to change. Whatever posture is comfortable for me, it could be sitting on the floor, sitting on a chair, sitting cross-legged, one leg on top. None of those things matter. Now, where do you keep your hands? Keep it wherever, as long as it's comfortable. There's one whole discipline dedicated to hands in yoga. What do you do with your hands? All the different types of mudras. What happens when you join your thumb with your middle finger? Nothing will happen. You're not going to become enlightened just because you put your thumb and your middle finger together. It's not that simple. And just because you're not doing that doesn't mean that you're not in meditation. Yes, you've seen many enlightened people sitting in a certain posture is what you recognize as mudra. But that's just a natural way in which the fingers move. Sometimes you keep your fingers open, hands open. Sometimes you close them. Sometimes you keep them on your lap. It doesn't matter. There's something that is happening inside. Your fingers are responding to it. That's it. The posture has to happen as a consequence of what's happening on the inside. You don't reverse engineer postures. Your fingers will assume a relaxed posture. Let them be. You don't have to practice all the different types of mudrasanas. And you don't have to attach unnecessary meaning to those mudras. It's all deviation, distractions. Again, recognize the child inside you. The moment it sees, oh, I have hands and I'm a yogi now, what all can I do with my hands? Please don't do anything. Stop being a child. You're a yogi. You're a ferocious lion. You're a king. You're not a child. Just keep your hands wherever they want to be, as long as it's comfortable. That is why if you look at images of Shiva, he is sitting in a certain posture and his hands have assumed a certain mudra. Shiva is usually depicted as, he's holding his thumb and your pointing finger. He's holding those two together. That is how he's depicted. And if you were to look at Buddha, he has both his hands on his lap, one on top of the other. Now, what is the difference? Nothing. It is just our way of identifying. You can as well paint a Buddha sitting in a yogic posture like Shiva. But that's not how you identify him. It helps you to identify him because you don't know how he looked. So certain remnants is what you're holding on to. The matted hair, the way he sits, the lotus posture. It is you who are obsessed with Buddha's lotus posture. Buddha was never obsessed with his lotus posture. In fact, Buddha never spoke about the lotus posture. He never spoke about the asana. He only spoke about meditation. So is Patanjali. He is not talking about all the yogic postures. He is just saying, sit comfortably. And then he says, he gives one more sutra. And he's done with it. He says, perfection in an asana is achieved when the effort to perform it becomes effortless and the infinite being within is reached. There, he's chopped the head of a so-called yogi. The one who's obsessed with yogasana. He says there is no way to attain perfection in asana unless you attain to the perfection of your being. He says your asana is perfected only in enlightenment. Perfection in an asana is achieved when the effort to perform it becomes effortless. And what are you doing? Only effort. Look at the sheer divide, the vastness of the divide. While Patanjali is saying effortlessness is the best asana, you have turned asana into an activity that involves effort. So there itself you can know that you have deviated. And he also says your asana will always be uncomfortable. There is no perfect asana. However you sit, whatever posture you assume, by its very nature, the body will be uncomfortable. It will never attain its perfect posture, but it's fine. The objective is not to assume a perfect posture. The objective of yoga is to attain to that perfection, which is above and beyond the body. And then he says, when you attain to that perfection, when you realize that you are an infinite being, a pure consciousness, then the asana reaches its completion. What you're looking at when you're looking at statues of Buddha, when you're looking at statues of Shiva, are only the outer form. But inside, they have reached the ultimate. Their body has simply assumed a natural posture to accommodate that internal explosion, to accommodate that vastness inside. The body is just firm and it's comfortable. Initially, there will be a little shifting, there will be a little turning and moving, but eventually, it will settle down. The deeper you go into yourself, the more comfortable the body becomes. So it will automatically assume the right posture. To begin with, you only have to remember firmness and comfort, and avoid all mental gymnastics, physical gymnastics, and attaching too much meaning to where your fingers are, where your legs are, where your head is. It doesn't matter. How you look while you're meditating is not important. What's happening on the inside is what matters.